She waited until the restaurant cleared out. A late dinner. Just us, quiet jazz playing low, the kind of place with linen napkins and waiters who pretend not to hear things they shouldn't. I thought she was going to tell me she was pregnant. Or maybe that she wanted to move. Something life-changing, but manageable. Instead, she leaned across the candlelit table, fingers brushing the stem of her wine glass, and whispered, "I have no desire for intimacy anymore. Not with you. Not right now. Just anymore." I didn't blink. I just pushed my chair back, stood up, and walked out. No raised voice. No dramatic speech. No reaching for the check. I left my coat draped on the chair, left my phone on the table. The air outside slapped colder than I expected, but I kept walking. No plan, no destination. I just needed distance. Her name was Natalie, my wife of 6 years. We met in law school. Well, I was in law school, she was in corporate PR, giving a lecture on brand reputation and public perception. That was her gift, controlling narratives. She could make a scandal look like a minor inconvenience. She knew how to smile with her mouth while keeping secrets in her eyes. I used to think that was power. Now I wasn't sure. I made it halfway down the block when I heard heels clicking fast behind me. I turned, expecting Natalie. Instead, it was her best friend, Claire. She was breathless, her coat barely on, holding her purse like she'd rushed out too fast to zip it. "Please," she said, her voice low but urgent. "You need to know the truth about her." I didn't say anything. I just kept walking. But she followed. "She didn't tell you the whole thing," Claire said, keeping pace with me now. "This isn't about desire. It's about control. It always has been." I stopped at the corner under a streetlight, looked at her. "Claire, if this is some kind of loyalty test, I'm not interested." She stepped in front of me, blocking my path. "She's been lying to you for over a year. The no intimacy thing? That's new language. Before that, it was migraines. Then work stress. Then hormones. But it's not that. It's never been that." My jaw clenched. I said nothing. "She's seeing someone," Claire said. "And not casually. It's been going on since last October. A man she met through her firm's acquisition deal in Boston. David Moran." The name meant nothing to me, but the detail made my stomach turn. "You're her best friend?" I said. "Why are you telling me this?" Claire looked away, ashamed or angry, I couldn't tell. "Because I was her cover. I told you she was with me when she wasn't. I helped her lie. I thought she'd end it. I thought it was a phase. But tonight, when she said that to you, I realized she's not going to stop." I nodded once, slowly. My silence was the closest thing to agreement I could offer. Claire wasn't finished. "She's planning to file in January," she said. "No warning. She has a separate account you don't know about. She's already moved money. I saw the statements." That stopped me cold. "She told me she'd get everything," Claire continued. "The house, your investments, even your dad's inheritance. She said you'd be too proud to fight, that you'd walk away like a good man does when he's broken." I stared at the traffic light ahead. Red. Cars idling. My pulse pounded in my ears, but my voice came out calm. "Why tell me this now?" Claire swallowed hard. "Because I watched you build everything with her. I know who you are, and you don't deserve to be blindsided." I looked at her for a long time. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," she said quickly. "Except, maybe a favor. Don't react tonight. Don't confront her. Don't say a word. Let her think she's ahead. Let her keep believing you'll walk away without a fight." The light turned green. And just like that, I knew. Claire wasn't just betraying her friend. She was offering me a weapon. One only I could use properly. I nodded. "Send me the bank statements. Any documents. Anything you have." She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for weeks. "I will." We parted without another word. I walked into the night like a man who'd just stepped off a cliff, but somehow landed on solid ground. When I got home, Natalie was on the couch, wine in hand, eyes on the TV like nothing happened. "You left your phone," she said, voice flat. "Don't you want to talk about it?" "No," I said. "Not tonight." I picked up my phone and coat, walked into the bedroom, and shut the door. Behind it, I started making a list. Not of what I'd lost, of what she was going to lose next. By Monday morning, Claire had delivered. Encrypted folder, dozens of files, PDF bank statements, private emails, flagged transactions tied to a second checking account I never knew existed. The oldest transfer dated back 14 months. 5 figures, monthly, siphoned from our joint account into what looked like a business expense. It wasn't. It was her escape fund. I didn't rage. I itemized. The shell account was registered under a marketing consultancy she claimed to freelance for. Turns out, the company didn't exist. Just a logo, a website, and a P.O. box. The payout structure was designed to look like salary, but the payments originated from me. She was paying herself, laundering it through fiction. Classic PR move. She knew how to cover tracks. I spent the next week in silence. At home, I played the part, husband, calm and considerate. She avoided intimacy, blamed stress again. I nodded, brought her tea. I worked late from home, logged into my office VPN, eyes fixed on data, mind replaying every lie she ever told as if it were confession. Claire kept feeding me. Screenshots of text threads between Natalie and David. Hotel confirmations. One image burned into memory. A reservation at the Excelsior in Boston, 2 nights, King Suite. Booked on the same weekend, she told me she was at a wellness retreat. It wasn't even subtle, just layered in the assumption I wouldn't check. But I did more than check. I called the hotel. Used my corporate ID to pose as an auditor confirming vendor receipts. They emailed me an itemized receipt. 1 room, 2 breakfasts, room service for 2, a bottle of wine, Pinot Noir, her favorite. The same night, she came home refreshed. I wasn't just documenting now. I was preparing. First, I visited my lawyer. Not the one she knew, not the one who handled our taxes and annual filings. A new one, specialist in high-asset divorces. I paid the retainer in cash. I wanted no paper trail, yet. We drew up contingencies, separation plans, asset freezes, motion triggers for any financial activity that crossed certain thresholds. By the time I left, I had leverage wrapped in legal silk. Next, I backed up everything to a secure drive. I made 3 copies. 1 stayed in my desk drawer at the office. 1 went to my lawyer. 1, I mailed to Claire, with a note. If anything happens to me, release this. She didn't respond. She didn't have to. Then came the audit. Quiet, meticulous, personal. I started going through every shared document, every cloud drive, every old email thread that she might have forgotten about. You'd be surprised how many people reuse passwords. Natalie was no exception. Her Dropbox held everything. Photos, tax forms, even the prenup agreement we never signed because we were in love. Mistake on her part, because now I had cause. And without a prenup, her strategy hinged on playing the victim. That meant I couldn't lose composure, couldn't look vindictive. I had to let her reach for the knife first. That opportunity came 10 days later. We were having dinner. She made pasta, poured wine, pretended nothing had shifted. Halfway through the meal, she said it. I think we need some space. I've been feeling trapped. I played dumb. What kind of space? I don't know. A break. Time apart. Maybe a trial separation. Just something different. I twirled spaghetti around my fork. Is there someone else? She paused. Just a second too long. No. I just need time to figure out who I am again. I nodded. Set the fork down. Okay. Her eyes searched mine for a reaction. Panic? Rage? Tears? She got none. You're not upset? She asked. I shrugged. I've always wanted you to be happy. And with that, the scene ended. She thought she was winning. That night, I initiated the first financial freeze. Blocked all transfers over $1,000. Locked the home equity line she hadn't tapped yet. Set alerts for any login attempts on our brokerage account. She wouldn't notice for another 48 hours. That's how long it took her to try and move 20 grand out of our account and into her shell company. The transaction failed. I got the alert. She got the message. I came home to silence. She didn't mention the failed transfer. Just watched me carefully, like she sensed something had shifted but couldn't name it yet. That weekend, I requested a full forensic report on her communications. I used a security firm I'd worked with in corporate litigation. Discreet. Legal. Expensive. The results came in 4 days later. Phone calls to David's number twice a day. Messaging app usage that spiked during work hours. One flagged call, recorded legally, thanks to her being in a single-party consent state, in which she told David, "He's passive. He won't fight. It'll be clean." She was already rewriting the narrative, planning to claim emotional neglect, to paint me as absent, uninvested, cold. And she was half right. I was cold, but I was never absent. I was watching, waiting, documenting. By the time she served me with separation papers the following Tuesday, feigned sadness in her voice, hand gently on my shoulder, I already had counter filings drafted and dated. But I didn't hand them over. Not yet. Let her believe this was hers to control. Let her move pieces across the board like she always had. What she didn't know was this. The game was no longer chess. It was checkmate, just not hers. 2 days after she served the separation notice, Natalie woke up to find the house unusually quiet. I wasn't in the kitchen. No coffee brewing. No laptop open on the counter like I usually left it. Instead, there was a manila envelope on the kitchen table with her name written in block letters. No note. No explanation. Inside, she found a printed copy of the hotel receipt. Screenshots of her messages with David. A list of every transfer to her fake consultancy account. Photos of her and David together, courtesy of a PI I hired 3 weeks ago. Her hands trembled. One page was titled, Timeline of Deception. That's when she finally realized. She wasn't ahead. She never had been. When I walked in 10 minutes later, I didn't speak. I just watched her try to gather herself, eyes darting across the evidence like it might rearrange itself if she stared long enough. I can explain, she started. No, I cut in. Calm. Final. You can't. She tried again. It wasn't serious. David, he's nothing. It was just a backup plan, I said. Which means you planned for me to fail. That's not marriage. That's negotiation. She sat down, dazed. What are you going to do? I dropped another envelope next to her. This is my proposal. Divorce on my terms. You walk away with the apartment downtown. Nothing more. No claim to the house. No claim to the joint investments. You disappear. Clean. Her eyes widened. That's robbery. No, I said. That's generosity. Given what I could do with what I have. She stared. You'd ruin me. No, I said again. You already did that. I'm just making sure you don't profit from it. She looked ready to scream. Instead, she tried the only weapon she had left. You still love me. That made me smile. Not warmly. Not sadly. Just factually. I did, I said. But that man died the moment you decided your plan B mattered more than our vows. She stared, speechless. I gave you time, I said. I gave you silence. You took both as weakness. She reached for the divorce papers. Before she could touch them, I added, one more thing. She looked up. You're going to write a letter. To your firm's board. Resignation, effective immediately. You're going to tell them it's personal reasons. Health. Family. Doesn't matter. But you leave clean. If you don't. I tapped the envelope. She understood. Her firm couldn't risk scandal. Her role required clean optics. No entanglements. What do I get in return? She asked, voice bitter. You get to disappear quietly, I said. Without lawsuits. Without HR scandals. Without the story leaking to the same media outlets that used to run your PR wins. That was it. She signed. She resigned. Claire delivered the letter herself. Said Natalie never looked up when she handed it over. By the end of the week, everything was done. Clean. Controlled. Natalie moved out of the house by Sunday. Left behind a framed photo of us at our wedding. I didn't touch it. Just flipped it face down and left it in the garage. David? Last I heard, his wife found out. A separate packet reached her through anonymous courier. Same contents. Same truth. Divorce proceedings started within the month. Natalie never contested mine. She didn't dare. Claire and I met for coffee 2 weeks later. She asked me if I felt better. I told her no. Better wasn't the point. Then what was, she asked. Balance, I said. She nodded. So what now? I stood. Picked up my coffee. Now I disappear. And I did. New city. New name. Same clarity. Because here's the thing they never understand. People like Natalie? They think silence is surrender. They think restraint means weakness. But silence is where plans are born. And restraint? That's just the calm before precision.